Hello guys and welcome to this tutorial. In today's tutorial I'm gonna show you what you can do with a animated character and make some glowing trails behind it with a tracer in Cinema 4D. Something like this.
It's 2 a.m. and cold outside.
Yes, so let's get started. And first off, we're gonna go into Cinema 4D. So open up Cinema 4D, and first off we're gonna go into the render settings. I'm gonna make sure my composition is 1920 by 180, which is full HD. So I'm gonna close it, and I'm gonna import the animated character. And if you haven't watched my recent video on how to download animated characters for free, you can click on the screen on the link coming up right here. So yeah, so first off I'm just gonna clean up a little bit. I'm gonna remove the ice details and the standard material which is included when you download the mesh. Then I'm gonna zoom into my character here, and I have a beautiful dance which I think was awesome for this tutorial. So I'm gonna go to the first frame here, and I'm gonna explain a little bit what we're gonna do. So the glowing trails you saw in the preview video was coming from the hands, and it's actually generated by putting a tracer. And what a tracer does is it takes all of the points on a mesh, which you see here is very many. It generates a trail behind all of these points movement. So as you see now, it's a lot of points, so we need to reduce it a little bit, because otherwise my computer will crash. And yeah, so I'm gonna show you how I did that. So first off we need to make this like low poly, because it's too much information in this mesh right now. So I see he moves, and this is built by a mesh, and it's built by a rig, which is a little bit too much of layers. First off I'm just gonna group these, right click and group. I'm gonna call this body. So to reduce the polygons we actually need a effector, so I have a polygon reduction here, which is exactly what we need. But if I put it right here, there, and I just remove this font tag, and I type in like something like 98, which is a lot of reduction. If I go here now to my body and press points, you'll see we still have all of the points left. So that's because it's still binded to the rig. So what we need to do is that I'm gonna hold command while dragging this out to copy it. I'm gonna hide this. So what we need to do is take it out of the rig and polygon reduction it, and then bind it again, because when we take it out of the rig, the animation, the connection goes lost. So we need to establish it again with a new bind. So you can just follow along. So first off, just right click, current state to object. Why I did that was because if I just go ahead and delete this one, it will go to the normal T-pose, and we can't bind it if it's in another pose than the rig. So go ahead and we can just delete this one. We have the one which I right click and press the current state to object, delete this one, and now go ahead and go here, polygon reduction, put it in there. I'm gonna go with 98, and still a lot of points. That's because we need to make this to a single material. So I selected the children, right click and connect object, and now you get a new object here, so you can delete the old one, and this one has a lot of less points. So this is exactly what we want. So we need to make it move again. So we can just take this, hold command and drag it out, and select the body, hold shift, select hips, right click, select all the children, and go to character, command, bind. And as you see now, our character moves. So instead of using all of these layers, we can make a character cache, which will make it only to one layer. So go over to character, point cache, and press store state, enable, and calculate. What this will do is it will calculate the whole animation and save it in a tag. So we can just wait. So now it's done. You can just go ahead, press that one, and go here and save. I'm gonna put it in here, and I put it, say, body cache, save. And now you can just go ahead and delete the skin, and delete the hips. And I don't know why it's down there, but that will do it. And as you see now, he moves like Jagger. So if we put a tracer on here right now, I can actually show you. Go to more graph tracer, and in the tracer object, if we put the body, now it was already in there because I had selected that before I enabled the tracer, but if it isn't, it will be a trace link here. Put the body in there. As you see now, generate trails, but I just want the traces to be on the arms, so we need an object which only the arms are in. So I'm actually gonna copy this by holding command, can delete the tracer, and we need to only have the arms. So go ahead and go to the points mode, go here and use a rectangle selection, and make sure only select visible elements is unchecked, and then just go ahead and drag here and delete. So now we only got the hands there, which we wanted. But if I go here and try to see if it's animated, it isn't, and that's because when we remove points, we actually lose the point cache. So we need to establish it again, and we can do that by getting the rig again, and let's see now. Now it's a little bit messed up because the hands are down there and the rig is up there. We can actually move this up a little bit. I don't know why it's... Oh! It just popped in place. I know how I did that, but otherwise you could just go ahead and put these arms up there. So select body, select hips, select children, and the body here is actually the hands only. So go to character, commands, bind, and now we have the hands binded with the hips. So just go ahead, we go make a new point cache, store state, enable, and calculate. And now it will save the hand cache too. If you don't save it, the next time you open the project, the cache will actually have disappeared. So you need to make sure to save it, and then you can just load it next time you open up the project. Yeah. So now go ahead, save. I'm gonna save this as a hand cache, like that. And now we can actually delete the skin and delete the hips. And as you see now, the hands are moving. So we can actually now go ahead here, put a tracer, and in the object, put body 1, like that. And if I press play now, it generates trails. But as you see now, it's generating trails, and the trails are never dying, so we need to make some settings here. And for the preview video you saw, I actually had some settings. I'm gonna use the same here. So limit from end, I'm gonna put 18, and as you see now, they are dying after a while, so that's a little bit cooler. And as you see here, the tracer is kind of rough and it isn't smooth. So to make it smooth, we need to make it B-spline, uniform, and number 8. As you see, it's now a lot more smooth, so we can keep it like that. And but if we go ahead here and render this, we'll see you can't see the tracer. That's because this is only a spline. It isn't visible in the render yet, and we need to wrap it around with some 3D geometry. So to do that, we need to go here and go to sweep NURBS, put the tracer inside sweep NURBS, and go ahead here and a circle. And the circle will decide how thick the line is going to be. So it's too thick now. 1 centimeter. I think that's a little bit too thick. 0.9. As you see now, sorry for my computer being a little bit slow. As you see now, the hands are generating real trails, and if you render this, you can actually see it in the render editor. So that's really cool. So all we have to do now is to hide the hands and enable the body, so it looks like it's connected to the body. So I'm actually gonna make some settings on the circle to make it a little bit more smooth. So I'm gonna make it uniform. No, I'm actually gonna make this none. And the sweep, gonna make it 2, and you can actually uncheck all these and only have that one checked, like that. And this will reduce render time a little bit. So as you see now, it's thick in the beginning and it's also thick in the end, and I want it to be like some tapering to the scale. So you can go ahead here and just drag this down and drag it over there and take the end of it and drag it like this. Now the end will get like small or thin like this, so it's a little bit more smooth, and I like it that way. So yeah, so now we're pretty much done with the like animation. We can just start doing the shading. So I'm gonna put a floor, gonna drag it down a little bit like that, gonna make it a little bit bigger, like that, and we're gonna make a material for the lines which are glowing. So to make them glow, we add some luminance, and go ahead and uncheck color, add luminance, and let's see here, 145, go over here and make a gradient, and the gradient is going to be 2dV, and I am actually going to use the same color as in my preview video, so you can just choose whatever color you want. I'm going to use the same, like that, maybe a little bit more like that, like so and like so. That's nice. And I'm gonna change the mix mode to multiply, and I'm gonna put it over here on the sweep NURBS, which is my lines. If I press render now, you won't see any glowing effect, and that's because we need to go here and add global illumination. That's very important. And I'm also gonna add ambient occlusion, which makes a little bit more realistic shadows. So I'm not gonna render right now because it will take a while and my computer is really slow while I'm recording and stuff like that, so I'm gonna render in the end. So in the meantime, we can just make a material for my character too, and the material I used was it looked like wax or skin, and that was because I used subsurface scattering. And subsurface scattering is it's kind of a effect which decides how much of the light gonna penetrate the material. So the light actually goes through the material a bit. So I'm actually gonna go here and add luminance, and go texture, effects, and subsurface scattering. And inside of here, I'm gonna click here. Okay, so I'm just gonna choose a random color, like that. I'm gonna choose 150, 0.25, and that is how deep the light is gonna penetrate the material. So I'm gonna put that on my body right here, and this is the body, this is the hands, and we can actually delete this one. So, and on the floor you can just put a regular material, that doesn't even matter. And as you see now, if I press render, It will take a time, but it will look great. And as you see now, the lights are glowing and the character looks good. And as you see, the floor is a little bit it's a little bit bad rendering. It's not the best render settings right now. That's because I'm recording and it would take like a lifetime. But if you go ahead and add some light to the scene just a little bit, which I have in my pre-video, I can actually show you just fast how I did. I just added a spotlight. I just went here and made it minus 90 degrees, and I just put it up here, and then I just went over here. No, I actually just made a null. I went to Window, Additional Managers, Timeline, and if you put in the null here and select it, go to Create, Add Special Tracks Sound. You can actually go ahead here and go over here now and just choose wherever sound you would like, and I choose a Obsession by Young or Vice, actually featuring Young. And now when you go here, it's actually lagging a little bit, but it's playing up the music, and if it's lagging too much, you can just uncheck all frames if you hold this little logo here. And then I just went to the light and I just keyframed the intensity of the light, and then I made a small shadow soft here, so it looked good. And that was basically everything. So now you can just go ahead and render this out. Make sure you go here and go to output and choose all of these frames, or just some of them, and then you go over to save and you go here and you choose your folder, and then you can just go over and like press render and add to render queue like that, and it will ask you to save your project, which could be smart. And then you could just, sorry for lagging, and then you could just press here to render. And I usually let the computer stand on the night and render it out, because it could take a really long time. But well, that's basically it. And thanks for watching, guys, and sorry for not uploading so many tutorials. I have a school, I have a job, and I don't have time. So but I will try to keep it up. I have some ideas on another tutorial to come up on my channel, and I don't think you want to miss that, so be sure to subscribe, and thank you for watching. Bye.
It's the type of shit I wanna play up at my funeral. Please don't put me in a box, I'm not too good with cubicles. I've been on a come up, but it been kinda moving slow. I just checked my bank account, that shit been kinda getting low. Oh well, still show out when I show up, remember